What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. We've got some insane news to cover, so let's just get right into it. Now, before we cover this article, and I'm probably going to play some videos for you guys as well, and we'll react to them, I just want to say that I've had a very bad feeling for a very long time that if Donald J. Trump were to win the election, which he did, in response to that, I've felt that, and many people have felt this as well, that the Biden administration would attempt to elevate or escalate and expand the Ukraine war. And it appears strongly that that's exactly what they're doing. So, guys, there's no reason why we have to have all these wars going on across the world or throughout the world. There's no reason why also that the United States needs to fund all of these, or not all of them, but many of these wars, right? I mean, look at how much money, guys, we've sent, taxpayer dollars, to fund the Ukraine war. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. So we've got an article here, folks, that we're going to cover. This is CNBC. Excuse me. It says Russia says Ukraine attacked it using U.S. long-range missiles, signals it's ready for nuclear response. Now, is this not just total insanity to you? It's also fear propaganda. And before I go any further, I just want to say that in no way, shape, or form am I attempting to fearmonger here. I'm just sharing this with you guys. The world is unbalanced, ladies and gentlemen. It's very unbalanced. There is no reason why we have to continue to live in this dystopian fashion. There is no reason why we can't have a utopia. I've said in many of my videos that Earth is a paradise realm that's been hijacked by a small minority of all of the wrong people that at some point in time managed to get the majority of the resources and the power, and they've set up their garbage reality that I like to call the Matrix, where everything is just fear, right? They want to always keep humanity in a suspended state of chaos. Because by keeping people in chaos, chaos leads to fear, and fear allows the world leaders, the puppeteers, to control people. Fear is a prerequisite to control. It just is, guys. So again, there's no reason why we have to live like this. There's no reason why we can't have a utopia. Enough is enough. Evil is just, it's run rampant for so long, it needs to end. And I like to think that we're on the cusp of that potentially happening. So we've got to stay hopeful. We've got to stay optimistic. And we can't let articles and stuff like this produce fear, guys. We've got to stay centered. We've got to be meditating. We've got to be taking steps every day to achieve the greatest version of ourselves, so that we can, in doing so, impact the world in a powerful way. So again, Russia says Ukraine attacked it using U.S. long-range missiles, signals it's ready for nuclear response. Now it's raining outside. I'm out in the shed. I am going to turn this into a studio, so I apologize if you can hear the rain and any noise in here. I'm going to get some sound dampening wall panels in the future, so this is going to be a studio. But let's just get right into this. Moscow signaled to the West that it's ready for a nuclear confrontation. Well, isn't that just lovely? Isn't that just lovely? Again, Moscow signaled to the West that it's ready for a nuclear confrontation. Ukrainian news outlets reported early Tuesday that missiles had been used to attack a Russian military facility in the Bryansk border region. Russia's defense ministry confirmed the attack. Mobile bomb shelters are going into mass production in Russia, a government ministry said. Man. So what happened, guys? Well, President Joe Biden, in his profound ignorance, decided that it would be a good idea to greenlight the use of United States long-range missiles in Russia. So, I mean, guys, to be completely honest with you, I've never been in support of this war. 9 out of 10 times, I'm never in support of war at all. Why is it that we can't just all come together and make peace? What is it about war and violence and death and all this nonsense that just keeps, it's like a never-ending cycle. It's disgusting. If I were the president, the first thing I would do once I got into office is I would go out of my way to contact all the world leaders around the world and make peace with them. Get together and talk it out like adults. And some people may say, oh, that's not doable. Well, I think it is if we had the right people in office. I really do. There's no reason why we have to continue this shit. Well, it says Moscow signaled to the West that it's ready for a nuclear confrontation after Ukraine was given permission to attack Russian territory and appeared to quickly act on that green light using United States-made long-range missiles. Do you know how expensive those missiles are? Why are we funding this? Guys, why are we producing death technology for other people to use? This is just so sick. Kiev appeared to waste little time after reportedly being given the go-ahead by Washington on Sunday to use United States-made ATACMS, ATACMS, missiles against specific targets. Ukrainian news outlets reported early Tuesday that the missiles had been used to attack a Russian military facility in the Bryansk border region, so it strongly appears that the Biden admin is trying to provoke a response out of Russia to potentially stoke the fires of World War III before Donald J. Trump gets inaugurated on the 20th of January. Madness. I don't know how anyone can be in support of this nonsense. But continuing, Russia then confirmed the attack, with the Ministry of Defense stating that Ukrainian forces had, quote, struck a facility in the Bryansk region using 6 ballistic American-made ATACMS missiles. The ministry claimed air defense missile systems had shot down 5 of the missiles and damaged another. Again, do you have any clue how expensive this technology is? It's insane. In quotations, its fragments fell on the technical territory of a military facility in the Bryansk region, causing a fire that was quickly extinguished. There was no casualties or damage, the ministry said. CNBC was unable to independently verify. Let's just scroll down here. CNBC was unable to independently verify the reports, and Ukraine's leadership has not yet commented on the attack. The Kiev Post news outlet cited a national security official as confirming the strike in Bryansk had been carried out, although he did not indicate which weapons had been used. Russia's foreign ministry, Sergei Lavrov, responded to the attack, accusing the West of wanting to escalate the conflict. Again, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, I hope I'm not butchering that name, responded to the attack, accusing the West of wanting to escalate the conflict. The fact that ATACMS were used repeatedly tonight in the Bryansk region is, of course, a signal that they, in the West, want escalation. Yeah, no shit. No shit. And without the Americans, it is impossible to use these high-tech missiles, Lavrov said at a news conference at the G20 summit, according to comments reported by TASS and translated by Google. Again, guys, this is insane. I don't know why anyone would be in support of this particular war. It makes no sense. All right, folks, so we've got a video from CNN to respond to. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's just get right into it. No, I'm not saying that I watch CNN because I don't. I think that I'm not even going to say it, but I'm just going to respond to this video because let's just hear what they're saying. Let's just get right into it.
President Joe Biden reversing a long-standing U.S. policy involving the war in Ukraine. Biden now going to allow Ukrainian forces to use long-range U.S. weapons inside of Russia for the very first time. CNN's Kevin Liptak is traveling with the president in Brazil. Kevin, what more are you learning?
Yeah, this is a major change in American policy, and it comes at a critical point in the war in Ukraine as Russian forces mass in the city and around the city of Kursk as they prepare for an offensive there, and as North Korea has sent thousands of its troops to fight alongside Russia in that conflict. President Biden making this decision to allow Ukraine to fire the American ATACMS missiles inside Russia for the first time. And this had been the subject of a long-running debate inside the American government about the wisdom of allowing.
Look at this death machine right here, you guys. Range is up to 180 miles, and their length is 13 feet. 13 feet. That's insane. A 13-foot missile. And again, these are United States MGM-140 ATACMS tactical missile systems. And if you look at the lower third here, part of it's covered with my face. But it says, breaking news, Biden approves Ukraine's use of long-range U.S. missiles or weapons in Russia. This is just maddening, you guys. It is now at this very moment in time more important than ever to question anything and everything they tell us. Again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Things almost always get worse before they get better. I don't necessarily think that this is going to escalate into World War III. I'm staying optimistic. But guys, you've got to stay aware of what's going on here. These people in office right now are absolute psychopaths. What the hell are they doing? Again, a 13-foot missile. And I'm sure I can't even imagine what these cost. I can't even imagine. This is all taxpayer money too, you guys. I find it so gross that our taxes, we can't even choose where our tax money goes that we pay. Just funding wars, it's just disgusting. This world is out of balance, guys. So there's never been a better time in history than to work on yourself right now and to stay centered, right? Prayer is important. Meditation is important. Using your magic is important, folks. In my opinion, this can go one of two ways. It can lead to a massive escalation of the Ukraine war and lead to other nations getting involved to the point where it just becomes World War III. Or potentially, guys, we could be heading in the direction of a utopia. Again, I don't necessarily think that this is going to lead to World War III. In fact, if I had to put my money on it, I'd say it wouldn't. I'm hoping that the leadership over in Russia plays the cards right, doesn't escalate this thing, and then we can get Donald Trump into office and he can, end this thing. I do have faith that Donald Trump will end this war and all the wars that we're funding worldwide. So again, people might say, oh, what are you talking about, Serpent? Trump's controlled opposition, blah, blah, blah. Again, that could be the case, but out of the two parties, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, I'm absolutely putting my faith in the Republican Party. I've been a Donald J. Trump fan since high school. I've read a few of his books. Two, actually. I've read 2 of his books. And again, I'm not going to get into some debate here as to whether or not Trump's controlled opposition. All I'm saying is that I do 100% believe that he will stay true to his word once he gets in office to end all these wars. And what's wrong with that, right? It's like, what is the point of all of this, you guys? Again, or this experience here in this world. Life is supposed to be so much better than this. All these wars going on and all the famine and all the nonsense that could easily be fixed, guys, with proper leadership. Again, the out of balance qualities of this dimension could easily be fixed with the correct leadership. And it strongly appears that the Democrat Party, the Biden administration, is greenlighting the use of MGM-140 ATACMS in Russia. They're greenlighting Ukraine's use of these United States death machines because of Trump's landslide. This is a response to Trump winning, in my opinion, and I have, under freedom of speech, the right to say that. That's what I believe, and that's what many other people believe, guys. That's not an uncommon hunch, right? So, what are you talking about, Serpent? Even with proper leadership, we won't be able to fix things, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. The problem, in my opinion, the problem is that we've never had good leadership. And even when Trump was in last time as president, he had people around him that did not have his best interest at heart. His new cabinet, his new administration is an all-star team with people like Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, etc. Even Elon Musk. And people can say, oh, Elon Musk, he wants to put chips in your head, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. I really do not believe. And in fact, I have videos of Elon saying that, no, it's if you want, for instance, Neuralink, you can get it, but it's not going to become mandated or mandatory. And I hate to say it, and I probably will get some flack for saying this, but Neuralink and the technology is actually really interesting. Do I want one, or would I want a Neuralink implant? No. But it's really interesting what they can do with that technology to fix brain-related health issues in general, and a myriad of other things. Do I agree with it? No. But again, we have free will here. If you want a brain implant and you have the money to get one, that's your choice. You can go do that. I'm not saying that the technology is available now, but in the future it most likely will. United States MGM-140 ATACMS tactical missile systems with a range of up to 180 miles, and they're 13 feet long. My God. This is the type of shit that happens in an unbalanced, hellish realm. A new world order hedge maze, guys. Let's continue this video.
Ukraine this new capability, there were officials who were concerned about the risk of escalation in this war. That's something that President Biden has been concerned about throughout the conflict. You also heard officials worry about the stockpiles of ATACMS. These are not resources in endless supply. At the end of the day, the addition of the North Korean troops to this conflict certainly has created a new sense of concern in Washington about where this war could be headed. It's a subject of...
It's really interesting timing, you guys. And again, I just made a post about this on Instagram, about the timing of these attacks. Go check out my Instagram if you haven't already. I post there every single day for the most part. I'm very active over there, and I post stuff on my Instagram that I'm never going to post here. So if you have an IG, send me a follow request. My link the link to my Instagram is in the description box. It's the first link in the description box. Check that video, or check that video out. Go check my Instagram out, send me a follow request, and I will respond within 1 to 5 hours. And you'll get an instant feed once I accept your request of all sorts of written posts, videos, etc. that will never be made public here on YouTube. But it's interesting timing, right? Real interesting timing. In my opinion, like I said earlier, this is in response to Trump's landslide win. Is it potentially possible that the Biden administration is trying to tarnish Trump's next term by leading us into war, an escalation of the Ukraine war before he gets in? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but if I had to put my money on it, that's what I'd put my money on. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the recent meeting of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They met and talked about the transfer of power. And Joe Biden the whole time had this massive smile on his face. He looked so happy. And a lot of people were like, wow, Biden actually likes Trump. Look this is a smooth transition. Everything's going to be fine. When I watched that video coverage, I knew something was off. I knew it. I knew that something bad was going to happen, right? And then look at what happened. We're now escalating the Ukraine war. The meeting that they had, there was just a bad feeling to it. It's almost like Biden knew that, yeah, you're going to have the transfer, you're going to become president, but you're going to have to deal with this war that we're going to escalate. That's just what it seems like. Maybe I'm crazy, or maybe I'm 100% right, hitting the nail on the head. Man, I'm going to wrap this one up soon, you guys. I just want to say that this is disgusting, and I hope that you guys are staying centered. It wouldn't be unwise to stock up on food and water because, again, people have this normalcy bias where they think that stuff like this, that like, for instance, World War III, it could never happen. Again, it's called a normalcy bias. So many people have lived in such a similar fashion for so long that they just think life's going to continue that way forever. They think that, oh, no, that's just bullshit, fear, propaganda, blah, blah, blah. It's never going to lead to war, World War III. I hope not. I absolutely hope not, but it's foolish to not be prepared, right? Here at the house in Virginia, we have hundreds of gallons of water stocked up. We have probably, I don't know, over 100 pounds of dried beans, right? We have the ability to, we have like these camp stoves that are not powered by gas. We have gas-powered camp stoves also, but we also have manual ones, analog ones that you start like a fire underneath this little, I'll show you guys in future videos what I'm talking about. You want to get stockpile food like rice and beans, dried meat, high calorie foods like peanut butter. Again, you got to have water. Caffeine is a really important thing to have. Tobacco also. If the grid went down, guys, and the power went out and people didn't have access to their caffeine and tobacco, they're going to go crazy. So that's a very powerful thing to stockpile for bartering, right? Bartering. People are going to want stuff like that. But I would highly suggest stockpiling rice and beans, dried rice and beans. But you need to have a way to cook those foods. And if the grid went out and the power wasn't able to be used, and you only have like a plug-in burner to burn or to cook your food, excuse me, you're going to be screwed. And you can't eat dried beans, guys. In fact, I think if you eat dried beans, too many of them, it'll kill you. You got to cook them. So you want like maybe like an Adobe style stove. I can't remember what they call those. Don Juan Matus, the Yaqui Indian sorcerer in Carlos Castaneda's novels, uses one of those to cook. It's just you start a fire, you take the fire and the coals and you put it in a compartment, and now you're able to cook stuff. So we have electric burners here. We have gas powered burners like with the propane, or it's propane burners, right? Like a little you take a little Coleman propane tank and you attach it to this nozzle, and now you can cook stuff. But it's important to have stuff like that, guys, but you also want to have stuff, for instance, so you can start a fire to cook stuff, because you never know if the mechanism on your burner is going to go to shit, etc. So we've got a fire pit here. We've got camp stoves here that you put fire underneath, and you just want to be prepared. It's wise to be prepared all the time. Not just when, oh, we might be on the cusp of World War III. I got to go get food, blah, blah, blah. No. Every time you go to the store, take $50 if you can afford it, and just invest in foods that you can stockpile for disasters. Things like dried beans are great. Things like rice, peanut butter, high-calorie foods, right? Every time I cook bacon, I save the fat, and I put it in the refrigerator in mason jars. Why throw that away? That's a high-calorie food. If you take rice and beans and add some bacon fat to it, you now have carbohydrates, protein, and high-quality fats. The fat in bacon is very similar to the fat on your body, right? It's much better, in my opinion, than these vegetable oils. So also, you guys, look for sales. I get coupons every month for places like Kroger and Food City and Food Lion, and sometimes I can get cans of beans for 20 cents a pop if they're on sale. I can get big cans of yams. We also have freeze-dried potatoes here for making mashed potatoes. But again, caffeine is really important. Tobacco is really important. Calories, etc. Medicines, right? Get yourself some ibuprofen and some NSAIDs, some aspirin. Blood clotting agents are really important. It's just, we'll go over prepping in the future, guys. But I am going to wrap this one up. I don't want to play this whole video because, again, it's just adding fuel to this disgusting fire of tyranny that's attempting to take over this dimension. Guys, stay optimistic. Stay centered. Pray. Let's turn this thing around. Let's turn this earth into a utopia where the best parts of real science merge with shamanism. Shamanic science, right? Let's turn things around. But I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. May peace be with you all.